quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal!
Oh, glorious joy. A wondrous grind between two incredible disasters who have both been eliminated from the playoffs. The less said about this one, the better. It was looking like the Colts were going to be forced to win, but the extremely ineffective Trevor Siemian suffered a mercy injury. If a defense can make Brock Osweiler look godlike, you should seriously consider deleting your franchise. Or at least revoked from Jim Irsay. He could pawn off his guitar collection to compensate the poor fans that showed up to this shit. Can we talk for a moment about how much of a wasted season this has been for the Bears? An elite running back tandem and a stout defense will be lost to the abyss because of how Chicago's executive brass has screwed everything up. But do you want to know what will help them? SeatGeek. How it works is simple. It's an app that consolidates all tickets being sold on the web and presents them to you in an easy-to-use manner. SeatGeek is definitely more efficient than the Bears' offense. A 1 to 100 scale is utilized to grade tickets. A low score is like John Fox's approval rating. It's red. You do not want this. If it's a high grade like Jordan Howard in most weeks, it's a definite buy. You can even get a view of where your seats are and what the view will be like. Even better, if you use the code word TREE on the link below, you get $20 off your first purchase. With playoff season coming up, it's going to be hard to get your hands on some quality tickets, but SeatGeek can definitely help with getting you to the games while not breaking the bank. I personally think the app would do a better job of coaching than Fox regardless. Those Lions jerseys are pretty nice though. In a rather surprising contest to claim the de facto lead in the AFC West, the Chargers and Chiefs duel with playoff implications for both squads. In a throwback to previous years, those Bolts chose to take the piss, despite what everyone was saying was a legit winning streak. It's as if playing a real team like the Andy Reid show instead of a cakewalk schedule will expose those glaring flaws. LA, enjoy your mediocrity. You had your chance to assert dominance over the division and you blew it royally. Although it's par for the course because they can't beat the Chiefs if their lives depended on it. Playoff hopes have taken a serious blow. Chinga tu madre, Spanos! There's nothing new to see here. The Bengals are still pathetic and got completely massacred when having to face a real team like Minnesota. The offense was non-existent and the D brilliantly allowed the Vikings to march all over them. Don't you worry, Cincinnati, there is some good news. Marvin Lewis is resigning at the end of the year to pursue other opportunities. Not fired on his ass, walking away right after his contract expires. If you need any more proof that the Bengals are a joke of an organization, look no further than this. This guy should have been fired years ago, yet is allowed some semblance of dignity because Mike Brown is a cheap ass. But here's a twist. Marvin is denying these claims and still considering a return. Whatever, they would underpay some schmuck that will poorly manage the team for another 10 years anyway. It is said that the hopes of Cardinals die not with a bang, but with withering to old age. It makes a lot of sense, as Arizona is all but the retirement home of the league. Injuries have ravaged this team all season long, and walked into DC only to be quietly strangled into the night by the Redskins. The Cardinals are officially eliminated from playoff contention. I'm honestly more surprised it hadn't happened earlier. By the way, whatever happened to AP? That makes a ton of sense. I'm glad to see that my jinxing skills haven't lost any sort of luster. A major example of this being the Miami Dolphins, a team that upended the Patriots the previous week only to collapse against the Bills. Jay Cutler became Jay Cutler again and just played like utterly rancid shit. Tyrod, on the other hand, torched that Miami D for one of the best first halves of his career. It was all but enough to get the W. Buffalo still has games against New England and the Dolphins again, which will decide the true fate of this walking mediocrity. It's going to be a tight race. Brace yourselves. Philly, you guys are in trouble. And no, it didn't have anything to do with Nick Foles, even if he played a really bad defense in the Giants. The true alarm is with your D. The Giants have been struggling on the offensive front all year, and you allowed them to waltz all over MetLife. Eli Manning threw for over 400 yards, proving he still has something left in the tank. Fortunately, the Eagles' asses were saved as they edged New York out at the last possible moment. The NFC is absolutely stacked, and if you run into a D that can actually defend, yikes. The Jets really missed Josh McCown today. A project QB like Bryce Petty proved that he may very well be a decent quarterback by the end of the millennium. The two-headed monster of the Saints continued to march down their throats, and the Jets have officially been thrown into the pit of misery. Even more ridiculously, Muhammad Wilkerson was benched from this game by the Jets because, well, he's Muhammad Wilkerson. New Orleans, you did your part in adding to New York woes. Good work. The conqueror of the NFC North has returned to triumphantly lead the Packers back to the playoffs. He may brush it off by saying he's not going to be a savior, but that's just a total lie. He's going toe-to-toe with Cam Newton in an offensive showdown. Now it's time for Rodgers to bail out the Packers' awful defensive core again. The hell do you mean he didn't? What is this 3 interception stuff? This must be some seriously fake news. Aaron Rodgers would never do such a thing. I refuse to believe it. I want a recount or something. God damn it, it isn't happening. Carolina, don't think we forgot about you. Good old Jerry Richardson has taken a break from building statues of himself to be accused with a levy of workplace misconducts. It appears that Jerry is so deep in his own shit that he is now going to be selling the team at the end of the season. That escalated quickly. This is simply a mercy killing for the Browns. It's their final home game for the year, where the team that used to play there and took everything they had continued to humiliate them. I would say they took more of your dignity, but that would imply you still had any sort of it left. The new regime in Cleveland has already chucked the old regime under the bus in a time-honored tradition for the Browns. Baltimore thanks you for the free win. Only 2 more losses left until history. I can't wait. A tale of 2 franchises shown in motion. The injury-riddled amputee that gets repeatedly kicked in the mud, and the pauper that has won the lottery and is doing everything right. Absolutely no surprises here. Except that Blake Bortles is actually throwing the football well these past few weeks. Sure, they have been against weak opponents, but if he has truly turned a corner, this team is a Super Bowl contender. Not saying if, but if you look to your right, you will see the Seahawks getting completely razed to the ground by a divisional foe in the Rams. Absolutely nothing is spared. They are humiliated, tarred, feathered, gagged, and fed to the wolves in front of their fans. If they could, the Rams would have gone into the stands and slaughtered countless waves of 12s, but it turns out they actually have some semblance of class and discipline. Unlike Seattle, which is completely falling apart at the seams with infighting and rebellion. It couldn't have happened to a classier bunch, I can tell you that. Oh great, the Steelers can't cover Gronk at all and are going to lose to New England again. God damn it, I was getting interested to see if they could pull it off. I can't bear to watch this happen. Just roll over and die already. Wait a minute. Oh my god. They're going to do it! They're going to beat New England! I honestly haven't prepared for this at all. All of the cynicism was for nothing. They're actually going to fucking do it. Holy shit, it's going to happen. They got it! They got it! Oh my god, they got the touchdown! They're getting it! Let's go! They got a fucking Super Bowl! If you're crazy fucking shit,
After reviewing the play, the receiver in the end zone did not survive the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
What? What is this fucking debauchery? All of this time and you still don't know what the fuck a fucking catch is anymore. The stop for a second leg.
Okay, fine, that was bullshit, but there's still a chance to. Why aren't you going for the field goal? Why is this play completely broken? Oh my fucking god!
What the fucking fuck? This is just fucking bullshit. This fucking big piece of shit. You goddamn worthless ass of shit. Every fucking time you get beat on the fucking New England because the whole thing's trying to fucking get you.
I am still really goddamn pissed at the events that have previously occurred. Titans, you get the privilege of my unadulterated rage. Your team is absolutely pathetic. The fact that you are still in playoff contention makes me physically ill. Your offense is anemic, your defense is substandard, your head coach is about 10 IQ points away from being football retarded, Mariota can't throw the fucking football anymore, your running game is going nowhere, your team fucking sucks a bag of chunks, and you're going to get completely annihilated if you actually make it to the postseason. Go fuck yourselves, you worthless sacks of shit, and take the full load of losing to the goddamn 49ers like the useless piss stains that you are. Even in hell, you're still 1 yard short. Okay, maybe we can actually get to some decent, wholesome football for once. 2 desperate playoff contenders fighting for their lives in a spirited game of... what the hell? So now do we ask what the fuck a first down is now? God damn it. Regardless, the Raiders are pushing the envelope and are in the red zone. They can win it right here. Look at Derek Carr work his magic. He's taking this game single-handedly and fumbles the ball into the end zone for a touchback. Game over, Cowboys win. Maybe they should have used an index card to measure where he dropped the ball. I remember when we all thought that Tampa Bay was going to take that next step forward, when famous Jameis was going to become a top-flight QB and lead this team to the playoffs for the first time in a decade. Boy, was I deluded. The whole team has chosen to fall to shit this year as they allow division rivals to walk all over them. The Falcons come into town desperately looking to choke away games and hand teams victories, but the Bucs have other plans. Good Jameis has appeared today and is outperforming a struggling Matt Ryan. They're about to erase yet another Falcon lead despite Devontae Freeman. It's going to happen. But then you realize that the Buccaneers can't kick a field goal if their football lives actually mattered. Shades of Aguayo going wide right and the Falcons escape from from their own self-chokehold yet again. How about you do something good for once, Tampa? The playoff race is really heating up with intense action in the NFC and intense mediocrity in the AFC. Let's take a look at who's actually out of the race so far. In the AFC, Denver, Indianapolis, Houston, the Bengals, the Buck Fumble, and shockingly Cleveland have been mathematically eliminated from contention. In the NFC, we are down the 49ers, Bears, Giants, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Dan Snyder's Shitskins, and the Pack Arena. Please do not attempt to look up my NFC playoff predictions from earlier in the year. You will die of laughter.
Newton keeps, was looking for Olsen, that wasn't there, now throws to the back. It is juggled and incomplete.
The ball immediately turns and looks at Bird, and as you see, Bird had a chance, and he's then on the line.
The run was down by contact in the end zone. It is a touchdown.
Wow.